Do you believe me when I say that the climate problem could be easily resolved? Hey guys, I hope you've been keeping positive and motivated. If this is your first time here, I am Thor and I share my experience as part of my Life After Failure series to entertain, encourage and inspire you and people all around the world. Have you been following the COP26 where world leaders have been discussing and agreeing on the fate of our and our children's future? I'm quite confident that this 2-week gathering will not solve the environmental issues we are staring right in the face. But why? The technologies and innovations to make the necessary impact are available, or at least could be within a very short few years. I imagine many innovators and entrepreneurs like myself feel frustrated and aggravated listening to the hypocritical talks by government leaders, as many of us have worked tirelessly over years making huge sacrifices with a mission and vision to contribute towards solving the climate problems around the globe with sound and proven innovative technologies that have been ignored or not received the support they deserve. As an innovator myself, I may be a little bit biased and bitter because the technology the world is looking for is available, and I'm confident in saying that if my innovations alongside many other ideas and technologies around the globe would have been implemented to reduce the effects of climate change, things would be looking differently today. The reason we moved to England and the Southeast was because it was selling itself as one of the most open-minded and inviting places in Europe for innovation, and I thought I had done my research. But as it turns out, the small print was very focused on enticing large corporate companies to set up camp here, not SMEs. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are many small businesses and entrepreneurs who have benefited from the grant schemes the UK is offering. But I cannot even count how many applications I have completed since we moved to the UK after fleeing Bolivia with the breakout of its civil unrest in 2010. The panel would describe our technology as a silver bullet, yet would not allow us the grant, which always felt very frustrating. The most frustrating application I ever completed was in collaboration with the University of Greenwich for the Department of Energy and Climate Change. Over £500,000 was awarded to the US-based company whose energy storage solution didn't seem novel or viable from the information that was available at the time. It basically seemed to work with the same principle as a hydropower plant, but using rocks rather than water. The system didn't make much sense. But not only was it awarded the grant, it also received investment from Bill Gates. I tried looking for the company, but I couldn't make out if it still exists, and only found this article with a YouTube video showing its prototype. I don't want it to seem that I'm complaining that I didn't get the grant. I mean, I am. Kind of. But I know that there were many other energy storage companies out there that from an engineering and efficiency standpoint seemed a much better choice to take, and many of the people I had spoken to about this were baffled about this outcome as well. With that said, in the UK and probably around the globe, there still seems to be this social issue of who do you know rather than what can you do. If this is an accurate evaluation, it doesn't matter how shit your tech is, you are going to make it. Consequently, the reverse applies. If you don't know the right person, it doesn't matter how good your tech is, no one will ever pay you any attention, which is a frustrating situation as an innovator eager to make a difference. Working in Bolivia on the country's energy problem was a blessing and curse at the same time. We worked very hard to get to the top, without any bribes. But just as we were going to sign a commercialization agreement, civil unrest broke out. Naturally, I felt bad having to flee the country and not making it. But my biggest disappointment was the sense that I let down those people who we were working with, who understood our passion and mission, that was to impact so many lives in Bolivia, offering them the possibility for energy and water security. I think the biggest problem is the way money is distributed to address the climate crisis, with limited opportunities for revolutionary innovations. When I last looked into it, 60% of research and development grants in Germany were awarded to Siemens, a $57 billion company whose major interest is to improve their current tech by a marginal percentage. I know I'm biased, developing my own clean tech, without much support or success through government-funded grants in the past, which is maybe why I have always been of the opinion that such grants would be much better served when given to smaller engineering companies, challenging status quo and efficiency levels of energy generation and storage systems that people have perceived as not able to further enhance. Another example that I could think of from my own experience is when we reached out to BMW and MAN, presenting them with our zero emissions, highly efficient engine concept. While we received a response from them, their response was rather disappointing, with them saying that our development seemed sound, but it was not part of their development plans and wished us luck. We interpreted this as we like making money on our own technologies and patents we have in place right now and don't want to pay royalties to anyone else's technologies for as long as we can. Governments claim they want to see innovations. But from what I've seen over the past years is that progress has been limited to the bare minimum, which raises the question how much interest in innovating the world is actually there. And do governments even have a say? I believe that as long as it benefits certain individuals, corporations and governments, any progress will be limited to the bare minimum. You only have to look at the vaccine that was developed within months or even weeks without wanting to open up for a controversial discussion on its effectiveness, but the point is a life-saving solution was developed within a short period of time because it was in everybody's best interest. On the other hand though, government leaders such as Boris Johnson can say what they say at the COP26. There has been and continues to be a lack of action. But might this just be because they don't have the courage or even power to stand up to existing lobbies that are profiteering from a slow and easy progress? Innovation is needed more than ever in today's economy and the already existing climate crisis. But innovation always comes with a disruption to existing industries, hurting them and their shareholders' pockets. So isn't that the real reason why there is nothing done faster on the topic of climate change? Disrupting of status quo, not desired. Thank you very much. In order to solve the climate crisis, we need to put our personal preferences aside. This goes especially to all decision makers and COP26 attendees who have in their hands to support the next generation of new clean tech that can make not only the desired but required impact to achieve the climate goals before it is too late. I hope that I speak for all innovators and entrepreneurs out there when I say that all we want is a chance. As I started out by saying at the beginning of this video, the technologies to solve the climate problem is practically available. It just needs to be wanted. Thanks for watching, stay positive and stay motivated, and I shall see you in the next one.